Okay, so 9 3/4 hours into the Ludum Dare. And what do I have so far? Well, just advanced a little bit on my last video. I've got a player now, I've got an enemy in there, and as you see, there's no explosions or death yet, but every time a bullet hits something, you see there's a portion of the grid that disappears, and the idea is that won't be travel upon. As you can see in the output here in dead space, there's somewhere where you can't walk. You see the grid regenerates itself. Right? If I start shooting him too, see, yeah, he's not exploding it either, but where the explosion is going to happen, the grid is destroyed. So basically, that's not walkable. So that would be death just by trying to walk on there like that. And you see the grid regenerates itself over time. So that's what I've been working on. If you're wondering how this is done, this is all procedural mesh. If I just hit pause there for a moment. Go into the grid manager. Like I said, each one is an individual piece. Let's get in closer on one of these jobbies. I think I showed you this before. Yeah. So that pulls out like that. If we try and look at it from the bottom, it doesn't exist. It's just a mesh that I've created procedurally. There's a triangle showing. So if I hit stop, it doesn't exist. It's not there. It's created at runtime. So the only things that do exist at the start is the enemy object there, the reticle, which is just a Unity plane. It's not my plane. Mind you, it doesn't need a plane like that. I could make that reticle just out of a 2-try plane, but I'm just going to leave that alone. It's doing its job. So pretty much that's all that exists until you hit play. Let's just load that scene up again. So everything's back in the right position. And yeah, if I hit play, there you go, bang, the mesh gets created, all the individual pieces. And then we start running around and the enemy starts shooting and you start shooting. As you see, if you're going in a straight line, it's very easy to shoot. If you're trying to shoot at an angle, you see it's much harder to shoot at an angle. That's what I want. I want a frantic arcade thing, but there's not much going on here. It's very minimalist. Hope that's fitting in with the theme. But yeah, I mean, the rest is going to come down to the type of levels. You're going to, you know, how fast do the enemies move? How often? How frequently do they shoot? And then I'll also speed the player up as time goes on after each wave as well. And do things like maybe put a delay in for how long it takes for the grid to rebuild itself. And also I want to put in a larger area of influence. So if there's an explosion, it's not just taking out one square. It takes out all surrounding squares, so it takes out 9 squares. Oops, I lost control there for a second. And yeah, and also, well, it doesn't break, it can go off the grid. See, but I've got here, look, out of bounds, I've got all these debugs going in dead space when I go across an empty gap where the grid's supposed to be. So it's just all waiting for the kill events, like yeah, being hit by a bullet, the enemy or the player being hit by the bullet. Walking over a blank space like that will be death because there's no track or rail to walk on, and walking off the grid as well, that'll be a kill condition. So that's me. We could say nearly 10 hours, 9 3/4 hours into the Ludum Dare. Fun, fun, fun.